Hi, my name is Zoe Cranmer, and these are my audience members. This is my Aunt Emily and my Uncle Adam. Around 4% of the population suffers with some kind of anxiety disorder. An anxiety disorder is classified by irrational fears about everyday situations that are persistent and last a long while. Social media is designed as a tool to bring us closer together and connect us with the world. Instead, it's left us feeling more isolated, insecure, and anxious in times before we had social media. According to Alex Sonder, with excessive or emotionally charged use of social media platforms, it can heighten feelings of anxiety in multiple ways. People our age consistently use platforms like TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and more. With consistent use, people our age have increased their anxiety. Today we'll be talking about the psychological and behavioral reasons of anxiety because of social media. The fear of missing out and the need for peer acceptance causes us to constantly compare our lives to others. According to the Child Mind Institute, peer acceptance is a big part of young people's lives, so they'll compare themselves to others and other people's experiences. This helps them develop their identities but leaves them feeling vulnerable and anxious. The rise of social media has only increased the anxiety and vulnerability in young people because they consume more content than ever. They compare themselves to others because of this. The fear of missing out when they see others having fun or getting more attention than them becomes too much for them and then causes them to become anxious that they're not doing enough with their lives. Validation is desired and is really easy to access over social media. According to professors in the Department of Computer Education and Instructional Technology at the Middle East Technical University, social anxiety is significantly related to negative social feedback. Because of the way it's designed, social media's anonymous platforms make it really easy for negative social feedback to occur. They also found that excessive internet use leads to anxiety disorders. A lot of these people use social media as a way to cope with their lives, social fears, and gain validation that they wouldn't get in person. However, in doing so, their anxiety worsens and their dependence on social media increases and becomes almost obsessive. Now that I've discussed the psychological effects social media has on anxiety, I'll move on to the behavioral effects. An increase of social media use can cause behavioral effects through consecutive and late night use. I've already discussed how excessive social media use can lead to anxiety disorders, but using it consecutively or in long periods at one time can do the same exact thing. As stated in the United States General Advisory, those who spend more than 3 hours at a time using social media face double the risk of gaining an anxiety disorder. Consecutive use of social media can stunt emotional regulation if done excessively in childhood. This can cause mental health disorders like anxiety and depression to occur. This is especially the case when people scroll late at night for hours at a time. Scrolling late at night can reduce a sleep quality, which in turn causes anxiety to worsen. Professors at the Department of Computer Science at the Carthagena Academy of Higher Education stated that doom scrolling right before bed triggers insomnia and nightmares. This causes hormones of stress to peak because it keeps people up late at night and then they're consuming traumatic content. The lack of sleep causes a dysfunctional loop of anxiety because the brain isn't able to resolve the stress levels. This is true when one is consuming traumatic content before bed. Today we learned about how social media drives anxiety through people's behaviors and psychological triggers. Social media is clearly linked to the rise of social anxiety, general anxiety, and then all sorts of anxieties, or mental health conditions known for persistent and excessive worry. Through online judgment and comparison, fears of missing out, traumatic content, fear-mongering, and then excessive worrying, social media has caused anxiety to skyrocket in a lot of people. By examining these psychological and behavioral loops, we learned how social media impacts our brain and our mental health.